Hello, mathematicians. My name is Miss Taylor. Welcome back to math class. Today we are going to work on comparing and ordering numbers. So, to make sure we're ready for math, let's make sure we have our fact practice packet. So, I've got mine right here. Our textbook. Let's see, I've got my textbook here. Workbook. Okay, I've got my workbook. And a pencil or a whiteboard and a pencil. And we might also need our place value chart. It's a really good idea to keep that place value chart handy because we'll be using it a lot. All right. And our math lesson for today, we're going to start off with our fact practice. We're going to do a little bit of work in our textbook. We're going to look through a few practice problems. And then you're going to have some practice problems. Well, actually, we're going to do these together. But then you can always do them again on your own. And then you have some workbook pages to do, and you're going to submit those to me. And then you're all set. All right, so first thing we have is our fact practice packet for today. And I mentioned that it is a really good idea if you want to time yourself, see if you can get faster and faster with your facts. And it would also be a good idea to write how long it took you to do your facts. That would be really good practice. Yeah, so I'm going to let you go ahead and do this. You might want to pause the video right now. You could pause and then do your facts, write how much time it took you, and then you can press pause again and watch the rest of our video. So that would be a really good idea. So today we're adding 5. So we can think about our facts that we know, especially this one. I bet you all know this one. If 5 plus 5 is 10, then we can think about, well, let's see. If I know 5 plus 5 is 10, 5 plus 6 is going to be 11. It's going to be one more than that. Or this one up here, 4 plus 5 is going to be one less than 10. Okay, so again, kind of keeping that idea of 10 in our minds. So if we know 5 plus 5 is 10, then 5 plus 4 is going to be one less than that. Alrighty, so again, this is meant to take you 1 or 2 minutes. And if that is not a challenge for you, try 30 seconds. Alrighty, so that is our fact practice for today. Go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to do it right now. And we are going to look at a few problems in our textbook today. And I am looking at page 20. So if you'd like to follow along with me, you can look at page 20. Alrighty, so, you know what? Actually, before we even look at page 20, well, you can see what we're thinking about today, comparing numbers. And comparing numbers means we're thinking about which number is bigger and which number is smaller. So before we even look at that, I forgot, I wanted to look at these two numbers. Because I bet you already know which one is bigger and which one is smaller, right? Which one is bigger, 5 or 3? 5, right? So we know that 5 is bigger than 3. And to show that 5 is bigger than 3, we use this symbol. And this symbol is called greater than. And I can write that underneath for us. Okay. So whenever we have the bigger number, the bigger digit first, we're going to put a symbol that looks like this, and that's called greater than. And how we read that is 5 is greater than 3. And one way that I remember it, and we're going to look in our textbook, I like to think of it as kind of a creature. And in our textbook, it kind of has a picture of an alligator. So if you want to think of an alligator, like a hungry alligator that wants to eat the bigger number, this alligator here in our textbook says, I always take the greater amount. You could think of it as like a hungry little monster. When I was younger, we used to have a creature called Pac-Man. And so sometimes I think of it as like the Pac-Man mouth wants to eat the bigger one. So sometimes I like to actually draw the Pac-Man thing. Looks like this. So maybe you can ask your parents. I bet your parents know about Pac-Man when he wants to eat the bigger number. Now, if you're thinking, Who's Pac-Man, Miss Taylor? Then you might just want to draw your own little creature to help you remember. Sometimes I just draw little teeth. I like to draw some little teeth in here so I remember, oh yeah, this is like the creature's mouth. And you could still draw kind of a little face there. Okay, so anything that helps you remember that the greater than symbol looks like this. Okay, now if we switched these two numbers, let's see, well, maybe I'll just move this up. If I switched these two, if I said the number 3 first, and then the number 5, now is 5 still bigger? Yep, 5 is still the bigger number, right? But because I've written the 3 first, now my creature is pointing this way, right? Because it still wants to eat the bigger one. So I'm going to draw my couple of teeth here. There's my creature. It still wants to eat the bigger number, and I could do my little face there if I wanted. Could even draw an eye. Could draw some hair. Okay, so the creature still wants to eat the bigger number. But now, because the 3 is on this side, this symbol is called something different. So it's facing a different direction. It's called less than. Another way that I remember when you have the little number first, the smaller number first, I think of it because the less than symbol, it points to the left. And it also, like if you put your fingers like this is the less than symbol. And if you turn it this way, you have the L to make left. So this is less than. So we read that as 3 is less than 5. Okay, so it kind of just depends on which way the creature is facing. So the less than symbol is kind of pointing to the left, but it's kind of opening its mouth to the right side. So it can be kind of confusing. This can be a little bit of a confusing concept. So we'll do lots of practice here. And then here's 5 is greater than 3. So if you ever get kind of confused with these symbols, and a lot of students do, then just remember to make the open mouth eating the bigger number, and that will make it a lot easier for us. Alrighty, so let's take a look at some bigger numbers, because we all know that 5 is bigger than 3. That wasn't very challenging, was it? Come on, Miss Taylor, give us a little more of a challenge. All right, so here we have some bigger numbers. Now we have on this side the number 210. So here, each of these squares is 100. If we wanted to count them up, there's 100 little squares there. And then this is a 10. So here we have 210 over here. And then over here we have 120. And again, this alligator creature is saying, I always take the greater amount. So if we had 210 on one side, right? If we have 210 on one side, and then on the other side they have 120, and the alligator, the creature, always wants to eat the bigger one. And again, draw little teeth if it helps you. You could, I suppose we don't really have a lot of space to draw an alligator, but if you wanted to, you could. I just like to make a little creature like that. Kind of like a Shel Silverstein creature, isn't it? Okay. So 210 is greater than 120. And that greater than means that it's bigger. Okay. And, oh, you know, another thing that we can do to help us is to look at our hundreds and tens and ones places, our place value chart. So if we look at our place value chart, and if we put 210 on our place value chart, 210 would look like that. And then the other number we're comparing is 120. Okay, well, we can look right away to see, well, there's more hundreds in this one, so this one must be bigger. Now, if the hundreds were the same, then we can look in the tens place and see. But if we see right away, oh, this has more hundreds, this one is definitely bigger because it has more hundreds. Okay, so we can also use our place value chart to help us. Let's see, where did Miss Taylor put our little eraser? Here it is. Okay. Back to our alligator creature here. Let me erase this in case we need to use it. Okay. So now we have a couple different numbers. Now we have, this is another 100. And then there are 9 tens and 9 ones. So now on this side, we have the number 199. And then over here on this side, we have the number 200. And you can see there that the creature wants to eat the bigger number, the greater amount. So we know that this number is less than this number. And we can say this number is greater than this number. So you can see the creature wants to eat the bigger number. So how that would look is we have 199 on one side, and then the other side we have 200. And the creature wants to eat the bigger number. It's kind of bright there, so I'm getting a little glare here. Okay, so the creature wants to eat the bigger one. It's this one, isn't it? It's 200. So the creature wants to eat the bigger one. And so how we read that is 199 is less than 200. So this is where it can get a little confusing, is how we read it. And I like to remember, well, first of all, I make my creature and it eats the bigger number. And then I think about, well, do we start with the little amount, the smaller amount? Anytime we start with a smaller amount, I know I'm going to say less than. 199 is less than 200. And kind of just the opposite, when we start with the big number first, I know I'm going to say that big number is greater than, and then the smaller number. So it kind of depends on which one we start with and how we read it. But the really important thing is to make that open mouth, eat the big one. So today we're kind of trying to think about, well, which one is bigger and how do we know? So let's see. Here we have, oh, there's some little people down here reminding us. It says, remember, this sign means greater than, and this side means less than. Okay, so again, that less than symbol looks like this. Actually, kind of like this. But then if we turn our hand, it makes an L. Less than L, right? Okay. And then the greater than symbol goes the other way. So you could think about the greater than symbol as kind of pointing to the right. All right, so let's practice a little bit. It says, which sign should you use? So here we have a couple of numbers. Let's see, on this side we have our 232. So there they have 232. And then on this side we have 100, 200, 323. So let's see, we have 232 on one side and 323 on the other. So, well, now here we can think about our place value again. Let's look in the hundreds place. Now, which one do we have more of? We have 200 on this side and we have 300 on this side. And we know that 300 is greater than 200. So we can know right away, whoop, Taylor's lights went off. We can know right away that 300 is bigger. Turn the lights back on. Here we go. All right. So 300 is the bigger one. If it helps you, you could also, when you're doing your workbook, you could just go ahead and circle the bigger one. That sometimes helps me too. Now I know for sure that 300 is bigger than this 200 number. Then I'm going to draw my little open mouth, my little creature who wants to always eat the bigger number. There we go. And he is going to eat this one. And when he's eating the bigger number, then how we read that is 232 is less than 323. So I'm going to write that here. Less than. Okay, and let's check. Let's see, do we have the right, is that how we write less than? Let's check what the little lady said over here. Yep, there's our less than symbol. And we have our less than symbol, and it's going to the left, which makes sense because we have our smaller number first, and we know that 232 is less than 323. All right, let's do a couple more here. Now they're showing us a little place value chart right here. So we are thinking about which one is bigger, 950 or 764. So again, we can look in the hundreds place. Well, here we have 900s, and here we have 700s. Well, we know that 900s is more than 700s. So the creature wants to eat which number? The 951. So that would be this kind of a symbol. And this, and again, because we have that bigger number first, this is the greater than symbol. Okay, so 950 is greater than 764. All right, let's try a couple more. Let's see. Let's try this one. I'm going to look at this one. So here we have 847 on one side and 841 on the other. 841. Okay, now this one, if we look in the hundreds places, 800s and 800s. So now we think, well, the hundreds place is the same number, the same digit. So now we have to look at the tens place. Here we have 4 tens. Here we have 4 tens. Oh dear, they're the same. So now where do we look? The ones place. So here we have a 1 and here we have a 7. And we know that 7 is bigger than 1. So we're going to put our open mouth creature, wants to eat the bigger number, always wants to eat the bigger one. Looks like that. And because we're starting with the bigger one, this symbol is the greater than symbol. So how we read that is 847 is greater than 841. All right, so let's see. I want to do two more, I think. Okay, let's take a look at this one, number 2D. It says, what is the smallest number that can be made using the digits 6, 4, and 3? Okay, so I'm going to write the digits up here. They want us to use these digits, 6, 4, and 3. And when we are using these digits, they are asking us to write the smallest 3-digit number we can make. Okay, I think they're, the smallest. But I would also like us to think about, well, what's the biggest 3-digit number we can make? All right, so if we want to make the smallest 3-digit number, and if I'm going to do 3 digits, I need to use all 3 digits, right? Because if I just said, well, 34, that wouldn't be a 3-digit number. That would just be a 2-digit number. So we're going to use all 3 digits. So in order to make the smallest 3-digit number, I'm going to start with the smallest digit, the smallest number. And we can see here that 3 is the smallest number. So I'm going to put my 3 in the hundreds place. And then I'm going to put my next smallest one. See, I already used 3. I'm going to cover that up. 4 or 6. I need the smaller one. It's 4, right? So I'm going to put my 4 here. And then the number that's left over is 6. So this is the smallest 3-digit number we can make with these numbers, with these digits. Now, if I wanted to make the biggest 3-digit number, I'm going to start with the biggest digit. And we know out of 6, 4, and 3, what's the biggest one? 6. Nice job. So we're going to put a 6 there in the hundreds place. And then because I want to make my biggest one, I'm going to put the next biggest number. So we used that already. 4 or 3. 4 is bigger, isn't it? And then the number that's left, the smallest one, is that, 3. So how we do that again with our smallest, you're going to put the smallest number in the hundreds place, then the next smallest in the tens, and then that biggest one goes in the ones place. The opposite, when you're doing the biggest 3-digit number, you want to put the biggest digit in the hundreds place, and the next biggest in the tens, and the smallest in the ones. All right. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to look at with you. Boy, this is a lot to think about today. Alrighty. The last thing I wanted to look at is our last problem down here. Let's see if I can zoom in for us a little bit. It's number 3, right here. It says to arrange the numbers in order. Begin with the smallest. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 3-digit numbers, and they want us to put them in order, beginning with the smallest. So let's take a look at, their hundreds, the number in the hundreds place. Let's see, where's my pencil so I can point for us? So here we have 3, 4, 4, and 3. So if we're trying to find the smallest number, it's going to either be this one or this one, because they have a 3 in the hundreds place. So it's either going to be 364 or 346. And to see which one is smaller, we've already looked in the hundreds place. Now we have to look in the tens place, because they both have 300 and 300. Now let's look in the tens place. This one has a 4 in the tens place, and this one has a 6 in the tens place. So which is smaller, 4 or 6? 4, right? So I'm going to write that number first. That is the smallest number that we have here. We have 346. Okay, that's the smallest one. Now the next smallest one is going to be this one, because it still has that 300s. These two are both in the 400s, so I'm not going to put those next. This one's going to be next, 364. Because again, they want us to arrange them in order beginning with the smallest. Okay, what's next? So now we have these two numbers that have 400 and 400. So let's look in the tens place. 3 tens and 6 tens. So which one is smaller? Because we're doing the smallest. 3 tens or 6 tens? 3 tens, right? So this one would be the next smallest. And then the last number is going to be the biggest, 463. All right, so that is how you put numbers in order. We first look in the hundreds place, like these, and we could see, oh, right away, these are 300s and these are 400s. So if we're going from smallest to biggest, it's going to be one of these 300s. And then we had to look in the tens place. 4 tens is smaller, so we put that one first. And then sometimes if they even have the same tens, the same number in the tens place, we have to look in the ones place. So again, we first look in the hundreds. Then if their hundreds are the same, like these two, then we have to look in the tens place. Now, if the tens digits are the same, then we might also need to look in the ones place. So there's kind of a lot of steps here to do this, ordering 3-digit numbers. Ooh, that was a good exercise for our brains, wasn't it? All right, your homework for today is, let's see, we're going to work on pages 24 and 25. Let me just quickly look at these pages with you. All right, so here on page 24, we have circle the greatest number, circle the greater number, and the greater number means the bigger number. So 221 or 134. Well, let's look in that hundreds place. Here we have 200. You can see there, 100, 200. And here we have 100. And there's our 100. And we know that 200 is bigger than 100, so we're going to circle this number. You could just circle the digit there. Now for number 2, you're going to circle the smaller number. So again, you're going to think which one is smaller, 400 or 400. Oh, they're the same. Let's look in the tens place. Which one is smaller, 6 tens or 5 tens? Ooh, 5 tens, right? Okay. All right, when you get to number 3, this one says circle the greatest number. Now this one can be a little bit confusing for students. Sometimes they think there's just one answer, when in fact, for each of these, you need to circle the greatest number. So for part A, let's see, maybe I can cover these up. What they mean is, whoops. So this is part A. They want you to circle the greatest number of these 3. So 823, 483, or 843. The greatest one out of these 3, well, let's see, I see both of these have an 800 in the hundreds place. This one has a 4, so I know it's not going to be that one. You could even do this. Cross it out. That one's not the biggest one. All right, now let's look in the tens place. This one has a 2 in the tens place, and this one has a 4. And I know that 4 is bigger than 2. So this one would be the greatest one. Then we're going to move over to part B and do the same thing. What's the greatest number of 99, 9, or 999? Well, we can tell right away. This one's a 2-digit number. 9 is a 1-digit number. 999 is a 3-digit number, so that one is definitely bigger than these 2. Okay? Then you're going to go on and do the same thing for part C and part D. So for each one of these, you should have something circled. Okay. Let's keep going here. Let's see. This one says, which numbers are greater than 438? And there's not really a space here. I usually tell students right here to write your answers. Which numbers are greater than this number? I think I see 2. I think I see 2 of these numbers that I'm going to write right next to here, which is the smallest number. And again, you can write it. You can even draw a little line here to write your answer. This one says write the number that goes in the blank. Ooh. So what that means is you're going to write the number that is in between these 2 numbers. In other words, bigger than 398, but smaller than 458. Let's see, could I put this number there? Let me try it. 398 is less than 687. That's true. But is 687 less than 458? It's not, it's bigger. Let's see, maybe I should do this number. But wait a second, 398 is not less than this number, so that wouldn't work. Would this one work? This one? I'm going to let you keep trying. This one is a tough one, but I bet we can figure it out. Alrighty. Number 5 says write the greatest and the smallest 3-digit numbers using all the digits given below. So we're going to try to use 5, 1, and 3. The greatest number, so remember how to do that? We pick the greatest number is 5, right? 5's the biggest, 5, 1, and 3. Then if we want to make the biggest number, we're going to choose the next biggest one. So we've already used this 5. Is 1 bigger or 3? 3. And then we use our remaining number is 1. So the greatest number we can make is 531. I'm going to let you try the smallest 3-digit number. And it does have to be a 3-digit number. So please don't write 1. Because while that's true, that is a small number, it's not a 3-digit number. And we want to make a 3-digit number. Okay? Then down below, you're going to do some writing of greater than and less than. Here, And so right in this little circle here, you're going to make your open mouth for the little creature that wants to eat the biggest number. And I can see right here that 453 is bigger than 345 because of the hundreds place. We know 4 is bigger. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to stop talking. This is a long video. But real quick before we go, when we have some numbers like this, or some questions like this, I should say, what I often ask my students to do is to write underneath, to draw like a little bracket under each side, so it's easier to tell. Let me just quickly show you what I mean by that. On this side, I draw a bracket, and on this side, I draw a bracket. And that way I can see what's on this side, 265. And I actually write it like this. 265 is on this side, and 849. And then I know right away, oh, well, I know 800 is bigger than 200. So then I can put my little my little less than symbol, because the littler number is first, and it's gonna, and then my creature wants to eat the bigger one. Okay. Oh my goodness, there's one more thing I need to tell you. Eek. At the bottom here, the greatest 3-digit number. So you're going to think about 3 digits that are the biggest that you can make. So think about the biggest 1-digit number, and you can do that number 3 times. And then the smallest 3-digit number. And just one little clue here, if it's a 3-digit number, it has to have 3 digits in it. And we can't just say, oh, I know the smallest 3-digit number is 001. Because in fact, if we wrote 001, it wouldn't really be a 3-digit number. It would just be the number 1. So that's a little clue for you. This is not a 3-digit number, but something like this is a 3-digit number. So we can't have a 0 as a placeholder in the hundreds or tens place. Otherwise, it's not truly a 3-digit number. Okay. So this one, I'm going to give you a clue. There's a 9 in it somewhere. All right, I think I'm going to stop talking. Second graders, have a wonderful rest of your day. Try your best. You might have to use some fortitude. This is a lot of thinking and a lot of ordering numbers and thinking about which one is bigger and smaller. And I think you can do it. But if you are feeling like, whew, Miss Taylor, this is a lot. It was a lot for today. So if you need to take your time, do it one step at a time. Maybe pause our video, do a little bit. You can watch some later. I know you can do it. Have a great day, mathematicians, and I will see you again soon. Bye.